I'm Danny. I'm 28 years young. I am working in the developer space for now 10 years, and I'm a web developer since 3 years. And now, since the beginning of this year, I jumped into Web3, and I made a lot of career switches in my dev career. And I think Web3 is where I will just settle. This is like where I really feel this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. And yeah, maybe I explain to you why I love Web3, why I decided to go all in there, and why it's something I do like every day for the last 6 months, every day Web3. And yeah, should I just start to explain what Web3 is?
All right. Yeah, yeah. Please, go for it. And also let us know how you stumbled across it, like that part of the story. We would love to hear that.
Okay. Um, so at the start of this year, I decided to take Twitter a bit more serious and started to make content. And on Twitter, everywhere was this term Web3, and I had no idea what it's about. And yeah, then I made some researches and was on YouTube, browsed through videos, and then I was like, that's very interesting. But what's the main idea? Why Web3? What issue it will solve? And there I tumbled across this term decentralization, and this term is what drives me every day. Um, so Web3 is not only crypto and blockchain maybe, because many people like use these terms together. Web3 is a whole new ecosystem, and it's a new way of thinking in the web space. So Web3 is the way of decentralization, about trustless, about everyone can participate, no one is excluded, and that we are the users and we own our own data. Because currently our data is owned by these big companies like Amazon, YouTube, Google, and whatever. And that's we do the content, we push it on the site, but we don't own our own data. Um, I like the example of YouTube. Like if you are a content creator there and you upload videos, then YouTube can ban your account, delete your videos like they want. You have no control over that. And this is what Web3 try to solve. Like it tries to give the users a power back, that they own their own data, and that's what I want to achieve. Like where I want to contribute each day as a developer and as someone who teaches people, share my learnings, and try to convince people why Web3 is so wonderful.
That's great. Thank you for that. And um, so, not necessarily like using all the buzzwords interchangeably. So, one should not do that. So, how important is it to, get deeper into these concepts rather than just, playing around the buzzwords? Like, does it help to? I'm sure it does not help to, just say these words out loud. You also need to understand it. So, do you have like any insights on how these things work and like what encompasses Web3? Like, there are NFTs, there is decentralization, DAOs, and what do you work on? Which part of it do you touch?
Okay, so this is a huge field. So first of all, I think it's important to learn more about these topics in detail, to understand what this means and what problem it try to solve. And what I used, and I can highly recommend it to everyone who wants to dive deeper into the topics, is Learn Web3 DAO. It's a website and a community where you have like structured learning paths, and you go from the very beginnings from what is a blockchain to very, very advanced topics. And that is like something I started in February, and I learned a lot of things. And you build applications there, decentralized applications. You get your hands dirty. You get the concepts are explained very, very well. And the best part of this, you have a Discord server that is very active with over 20,000 people. Everyone is helpful, friendly, tries to help. And yeah, definitely my number one place I recommend to everyone who wants to dive deeper into Web3. And yeah, you learn everything from what is a blockchain, NFTs, for what you can use NFTs. You learn about DAOs, NFT marketplaces, or decentralized exchanges, and all that stuff. All these buzzwords that maybe make no sense to you yet. Um, what I really I like I like really anything there, but it's a huge field and it's hard to yeah to concentrate on any topic. So my favorite topic is DAOs. What DAOs means is it's a decentralized autonomous organization, and in easy words, it's just a Web3 way of organizations. And what I like about is that I think that DAOs are takes a crucial part of making the web decentralized, in that way that in a DAO you don't have a hierarchy like in a normal company. You have a CEO and a team lead and stuff like that, a clear hierarchy. And in a DAO you don't have that, so everyone has the same rights. Anyone can vote on decisions they want to make in the DAO, and it's just a new way of organizations. And I really, really like that. Um, DAOs face many problems now. For example, many DAOs have the concepts that they have their own token, like ERC20 token, like Ethereum. You can think about that. And there it means like you have more tokens from the DAO, you have more voting power. And I really, really dislike that, because that just means you have money, you have more power. And that's, I think, going in the wrong direction. So there are many possibilities you can solve that. But that would like go very technical yet. Yeah, but DAOs are my favorite part of Web3, and something I want to dive deeper into, maybe create my own DAO. And
Okay, so Danny, thank you for explaining, what are the different components of this ecosystem, and I think you specifically are inclined to DAOs and work on it, right? So for a person who is like very new and looking to get into Web3, so there are two things here. First of all, someone who's from Web2 might want to get into Web3, and second, someone who is not also into Web2 might directly want to jump on the Web3 bandwagon. Uh, are the like things they need to consider or think before thinking about making a switch, or how do they start to make a switch? Since you mentioned that this is a very diverse ecosystem and there are lots of parts in it. There are NFTs, there are DAOs, there's the whole crypto trading market. What else is there, and how can people like combine what they already know and then make a smart switch?
mm, yeah, that's a good question. I get this question a lot on my Twitter. Many people approach me and ask me, hey, how I can start. And maybe we start first with people that are already in Web2 and want to dive into Web3. Because I get a lot of these questions on Twitter and Discord. So first of all, if you are in Web2 and you are a developer, for example, and you already know like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and such stuff, you have a huge advantage. And I would say you are good to go to dive into Web3, because you don't have to think that Web3 is like something completely new and will replace Web2 in any kind. It's Web3 is like an upgrade to Web2, and so all your skills that you learned in the Web2 world are still completely valid, and you still use it and need it. And so any web developer are good to go to explore Web3. Like the tools for the front end, like React, for example, is very popular in Web3. If you know React, then you can just start. There are many libraries already for Web2 in the Web3 in the front end, and yeah, then you have to decide. Okay, I want to get into Web3. What I want to do? There are many things. As a developer, you can do front end, you can do back end, and in this case, back end would be like, for example, Solidity, like creating smart contracts on the blockchain. And then you have to decide: do I want to do one of these, or I maybe want to do both, like full stack development? And then I have like already I already said like Learn Web 3 DAO is like a place where you can like learn these things, like Solidity and Web3 in general. And what I really like for Solidity is a website that is called Crypto Zombies. It's a very cool website because you build uh, a game in Solidity, and it's about zombies. So, I mean, it's very fun. You learn while you code, and I think it's really great to learn the language. Um,
Okay. Sort of the learning is
and
gamified, so
yeah,
it makes learning fun.
exactly, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And in the Learn Web 3 DAOs tracks, you also like use Solidity. You use like Next, also React in the front end, and you build something. And that's my number one tip for anyone. First, learn the basics from Web3, and then just start building, because it's the best way to learn. Um, and yeah, you will learn. You have like projects you can put on your portfolio, and it makes fun. It's fun. So yeah, that's how I would approach that. Um, then very important. I mean, I'm a developer since 10 years, and I just learned it like this year. Join a community. It's like a superpower, because you have like many things that are great in the community. First of all, um, you are more motivated in a community, like to show off your skills, like to you see what other builds and do each day, and how motivated they are, and then you get motivated to do more. Um, then yeah, you can like ask for help at any time. Like as a developer, you will face many problems, and like a place on Discord is so Discord is a nice place to ask people to get feedback on your project, on your code, and yeah, or just chatting with people. It's very refreshing, and like I said, the Learn Web 3 DAO Discord is like a family for me. For now, it was like one of the best decisions to join there, and yeah, that's very important. And
I see. What about Twitter?
yeah, good point. So I, as I said, I started Twitter this year, to take it more seriously, to be a content creator, to share my learnings, my wisdom with other people, because I want to help people. And I think it's also a great way to learn, and to make yourself accountable if you are building in public. So I think it's a great way to learn. You will meet wonderful people. I've met. I mean, I'm on this podcast only because of Twitter, for example. I
Yeah, we met on Twitter.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly, and many. I have met many people, friendly people with nice ideas, with project ideas, or just people that want to talk about me about Web3. And yeah, if you are using Twitter and you are making connections with people, you will have a lot more opportunities. So also, for example, for a job you might search for. So having Twitter is a big plus in my opinion, in every aspect, like learning, getting job opportunities, and or just met nice people. So Twitter is very cool, and the tech Twitter bubble is friendly and helpful, and there's no negativity, and it's just nice people in there. So it's fun to engage with them. Yeah. So
Yeah, you sort of suddenly have so many people like to look forward to or look up to or, just hang out with who think like you, who work on similar things and who are building great things and especially building in public. That brings me to like, can you share more about even I came across this recently that a lot of people choose to build in public to have that sort of accountability. So my question is, have you ever built in public? And can you share a little bit more about that?
yeah. So myself, I started to build in public now. So sharing my process and what tech I use and what problems I face. Um, I think it's a great way to get feedback. Um, yeah, and then, as I said, it's you make yourself accountable, so you are more likely to continue with your work. And I met many people on Twitter that build in public, and everyone said the same. It's a great way to stay productive, and like many people try to make cool projects, but many people also try to make like a project that might be the new biggest or big platform, or a new cool product. And it's so important to get feedback early on in the process, because maybe you build something and nobody wants to use it, so, or there's no use case. And yeah, on Twitter is a great way to get the feedback early on. That's why I think it only has upsides to build in public. Many people, I think many people don't do it because they are scared, because of negative feedback, or they think, hey, they think, oh, my code is not that good and people will judge me, and stuff like that. Um, but I can say on tech Twitter, this will not happen. You will only like get nice feedback, and and if something is not as great as you may think or want, then you get not bashed. And they say, hey, you can improve that by doing this and this, and they're very friendly with their feedback. So just build in public. Don't be scared. The people are all almost friendly, everyone, and just do it.
Yeah, yeah, just do it. Um, get started on whatever you want to build. So yeah, I think so that's nice. I've observed a lot of that, so yeah, I can relate to it. People can get constructive feedback
Yeah,
when they put things out there, and yeah, like you said, tech Twitter might help. So okay,
definitely.
mm,
Yeah.
I think you said that you did you want to be a content creator before getting into Web3, or after getting into Web3, you just thought that, I learned so much. Now I can like, I'm like brimming with knowledge I can share with the world.
Mm.
Um, and I want to really help the people in the community who want to get in this boat.
Yeah, it was simultaneously. Like I started in January with Twitter, like in the beginning of this year, and like Web3 was uh, one of the things I wanted to post on. And as more and more I got into Web3, I I was like, okay, I leave everything else and just concentrate on Web3 because like I was like, okay, this is something I'm passionate about. This is something I this is like a life goal for me. Like to decentralize the web is a life goal for me, and to teach people about that stuff. And yeah, then I just started to make Web3 content. I also like a bit of motivational stuff because I'm just a very happy person. I like to smile. I try to spread this positive vibes. So I was like, okay, I do Web3, a bit of motivation, spreading the good vibes. Um, then after I got bigger. I also tried to make content about development in general, like web development, because hey, I'm in this space for several years. I can like share my wisdom, my learnings with others. Many people starting out with development, and it's helpful for them. And yeah, I just like the feeling of helping others. It's like one of the best feelings you can get if someone is really grateful for your advice and your posts. And yeah, but mostly it's about Web3 and how people can get into it and explain the topics to them. That's what I do the most on Twitter.
Yeah, I can totally feel the positive vibes from your whole profile, and keep up that good work. Mm,
I will.
uh, yeah. So we talked about like people who are into Web 2 can get into Web 3. Is there like how do people who are not in like any technical field um think about Web 3? Like where do they get started?
Yeah, that's yeah, that's also a good question. I get some of that really depends on what you want to do in Web3. Like you want to be a developer. Then I have like several very nice resources on Udemy, on YouTube, or Free Code Camp is totally free. Like most known. And after first of all, I say, hey, just get the basics of computer science first, like how computer works, your first programming language, and there's a great series on YouTube. It's from the Harvard University. It's completely free. You learn the basics of computer science.
Is it
Then this is like
CS50?
my
X.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
CS50.
Oh, yeah. Great course.
Yeah, that's really great. It's totally free, and they cover topics I didn't learn in my 3 years as a software development apprenticeship here in Germany. So it's a great course. So if you're starting with computer science and development, then this should be your first visit. And after that, it depends on how you want to learn. For example, I like videos. I'm a visual learner. So I started web development with a Udemy course, but there are tons of free YouTube videos. I know a bunch of nice content creators there. Traverse Media, the Net Ninja, Web Dev Simplified, for example, to name a few. Great content, so you can learn it for free. Um, and yeah, as I said, on Free Code Camp, you can like get your hands dirty, code a bit. So yeah, first of all, like get the basics of computer science, then get the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you're good to go to jump into Web3. And someone who isn't a developer, then yeah, I have to think like I'm a developer, because then it's hard for me to suggest people like to do what to do. Um, des- for example, designers are also like very welcome in the Web3 space, because we need designers for creating NFT pictures. We need designers, also UI and UX for the websites, because I think a good Web3 application needs a good UI UX design, because for the normal users or non-tech users, it's very painful, this whole thing with the wallets and how to connect to the Web3 application. And so UX UI designers are super useful in this space to help on tackle this issue. Um, but you can, like, as in Web2, you can make anything in Web3. There we need like product owners, we need people that execute stuff, like not as a CEO, but just someone who can like coordinate people for project. Um, any skills you have, you can do in the Web3 space. So and for that, I also can recommend Twitter again. You can find people that have the same story, that want to have the same background as you, and yeah, you can like find people that are searching for the same, or people that, uh, for example, are designer and made it into Web3. Then you can like connect to them and ask them, hey, how you did it. Um, yeah, so making connections is very important in this space.
Um, then I think that sounds like you have to go through the whole process, like starting from the fundamentals and basics and
Mm,
building up. You cannot just jump into it. So even jumping into it is like a whole process, just like you would do in any field, any new thing that you would
mm,
learn. So just mind everyone that it's going to be a whole process, whole learning experience,
mm.
connecting with people, figuring what works best for you, and aligning that with the industry. So you know, so sort of thinking about all those aspects would really help, I think. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
definitely.
okay, right. What would you say about the different types of languages that are there, like Solidity, and like I think you talked about
Yeah,
React, but what are
yeah.
the other technologies, and kind of can you like give us an overview about how it works? Like let's say Solidity for smart contracts. So what are
Mm.
the languages one can learn in this field?
Um, yeah, as I said, you can learn Solidity, and that is for Ethereum based blockchains. Um, just to make it quick, Ethereum is like the biggest well-known blockchain besides Bitcoin. But on Bitcoin, you can't code smart contracts. So Ethereum was the very first blockchain where you can like code smart contracts and like, yeah, develop things on. And there you use Solidity. And the good thing about Solidity is, as a web developer who knows JavaScript, it's fairly easy to get into Solidity. So it's an object-based programming language. The syntax is very, very similar to JavaScript, and so this is very good. Um, you will find um, many blockchains that are based on Ethereum. Another blockchain that is well known is Solana, for example, and there you can code in Rust. Personally, I never touched Rust. I think it's a great language. It's on my to learn list for a long, long, long time. Um, so yeah, you can learn Rust. Um, I think you can also. I think there are blockchains where you can code in assembly script, I think. Um, yeah, but most of the blockchains I faced was Solidity or Rust. So I think that are the two main languages in the space right now, for the blockchain. And for the front end, like I said, React is right now the hottest in the market in Web3. Um, I think there are also like libraries for Vue.js. Angular, I don't know. I don't think so. Um, yeah, so mostly React, I have to say. And yeah, yeah, React. Yeah, React.
Okay, yeah,
I would
I'd
learn
say that
React.
that helps. Okay, of course. We can collaborate on that. I kind of got into the basics of React, but yeah, it's fairly easy if you know like HTML, CSS, and
Mm,
like design principles.
yeah, true.
Yeah. So if we take like we talk about how you can learn and get into the space and build yourself up. Um, let's take a bit of an overview kind of a thing where how does the crypto markets, let's say the state of the crypto markets affect this space? Is it related or does it not affect it? Like
Mm,
what happens
yeah.
since you're into this space? I think you can give us a little insight into, what are the conversations that you have? Let's say if do you like observe the Bitcoin market and
Mm,
do things depend on that or is it totally disconnected?
yeah, that's very, very great question because that is something that is currently discussed heavily. Because like currently the crypto market is crashing. So I also invested in some cryptos. I'm not a crypto trader. I just believe in the technology and invest some money in there. Um, and yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum are very, very low. I think Ethereum is now under 1,000, and I think half a year ago it was at 4,000. So it's very, very low. Many people think, okay, that Web3 is over. That's it's over, and I think it's the complete opposite. Um, and many people on Twitter say the same, because in Web3 you have many scams. Many people try to make quick money, to scam people. It's a new technology, like it's very confusing for some people, and they just see, hey, you can make quick money with that, and someone approached me here, then easy money, and then you get scammed. And um, these people, these scammers, uh, will now leave the Web3 space more and more because like there are less and less money involved right now, so they don't bother to scam people now, or yeah. And I think it's a great time for Web3 because now the people stay in the space that believe in the technology, that believe in the idea about decentralization, and yeah, we still build stuff. So now the people will stay that will build things, that will grow the ecosystem, and although I lost some money, I mean, only invest as much as you can afford to lose, but um, I think it's a very great time for Web3 because now only the people will stay that believe in it, and it doesn't affect the Web3 ecospace as much as people may think. So it's still a great time to jump into Web3 and explore the ecosystem. And yeah, I think the time for scams is now over.
Of course. I think there is a term called rug pull, is it? Um, where this kind of scams are prevented, which is sort of embedded in the whole idea of the project or the token. So, do you think it is relatable to this? I don't know much about it, but I've like heard about it.
yeah, it's one of the scams. Yeah, so rug pull is was a lot of time used in the past. It's so basically like the owner of the project get all the money from the users and then just get away with it. So just leave the project, get the money, and just yeah away. And that's one of the scams in Web3. You have many scams with NFTs. Um, I think NFTs are a great opportunity. You have like many use cases for them. Um, I don't like NFTs when they are just about selling and getting them and make money with them. I think we have many utilities in Web3s. I maybe people know Gary, how it's called, Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, Gary, Gary V. A great guy, and like he has an NFT collection, and he has like utilities in his NFTs, like getting a Skype call with him or something like that. And I think that's one great use cases of NFTs, or for identity, or for yeah stuff like that. And
Right. I think his
yeah,
project is called We Friends, right?
yeah,
Is that what you're
exactly.
talking about? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, interesting project. Um, I've heard that he sketched out uh, a lot of the artworks himself. Is that true?
I think all of them. Yeah, I think all
Oh,
of them.
oh, okay.
He
Very
he
interesting.
mentioned that. Yeah.
Okay. So are there, uh, like, I think once the kind of um, scams that people might do are discovered, there might be some things that the industry like takes steps towards, like for rug pull, let's say, I think there's something called anti-rug pull. So how does it ensure that the potential of such a thing happening does not happen? Like, how do you ensure, how does the industry as a whole ensure users that, hey, for this project, this is not happening? So how do you like build trust, you know, regain the trust
Mhm.
once like a big thing happens?
Yeah, that's complicated. I think if you are investing money in some project, the first thing you should do is like getting on the website and first seeing if this project legit. And there are many indicators you can use for that. You can like, okay, is it an I think normal website? Is there a roadmap for the project? Is there a Twitter account? What kind of content they post? And is there a community, a Discord? Um, and the thing is, you can never 100% make sure it's not a scam. I mean, in Web3, you have the smart contract. So if it's open source, you can look at the code. That's a huge plus because I mean, you need to understand the code, but if you do, you can like make sure it's not something that steal your money or something like that. Um, but yeah, if you have a project and the smart contract is not open source, then I think nah, it's too risky. Because like many great companies and big companies in Web3 have open source their contracts. So why should anyone hide their contract? So the code that is
Makes
suspicious in
sense.
my opinion. And
Yeah,
yeah,
completely
that's
like auditable. Like you can check for yourselves. That's the whole
yeah.
like I think um it's the foundational layer for this space that hey, it's open. You can verify it for yourself, and the does not lie in any one organization or person. In one
Yeah.
organization, like you said, for DAOs, which is interesting that the power is distributed sort of
Mm.
democratically. So yeah, I get the idea.
Yeah, and that's basically the main idea about blockchains, right? You have many machines that are connected, and you have no central authority. and we have no one that controls everything. And that's what's called decentralization, and that's what I'm loving about this whole Web3 thing. That we as users have the power, have the rights, and own our own data, and yeah, I just love it.
Okay. Sort of, I think we discussed on Web3, Web2, and there's in the 2000s, there was something called Web1 also.
Yeah,
So do you want to highlight on that? Like, why is it named 1, 2, 3?
yeah.
Um,
So the first web was introduced in, I think, 1993 or 94. I don't recall that exactly, but this was just you only had static websites. You know, it doesn't look it didn't look fancy or anything. There were no user interactions, right? And it was called the read-only web. So, and then in 2004, social media rised. You had like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and all this stuff. And there you can, like, as a user, make interactions and create content and interact with other users. You can chat over Discord or whatever. And this was also the time that the big companies rise and getting stronger and more power. And yeah, this is where the time where big companies like control the web. And this is called the read write web. And now the next evolution step is Web3. This is called the read write own web, because we users own our own data again. And yeah, as I said, it's the idea about decentralization. And this is like the evolution of the web. I as myself and many others in the space don't like the term as much, because people think that Web3 is a replacement for Web2, and it's definitely not. Um, it's an evolution. Nothing gets replaced. It's just getting better, in my opinion. And yeah, I like to talk about it like JavaScript and TypeScript. Like TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, adding stuff that is good, and that is for me Web3 to Web2.
okay. All right. Um, Sounds interesting. And I think sort of connected the whole timeline. So pretty clear. We have certain examples for the Web one. I think 97 Amazon was formed, so it was about all the books, and all the websites were not very usable, but they served their own purpose since the internet was just getting started and evolving. Then people started getting connected, which is the Web two, and now they want all their power back. I think, which is kind of Web three. So great connection there. I think there might be a lot of speculation. I don't know why, but is Web3 here to stay? What are your thoughts on that? Because you are building a career in it and you're already working on it. So do you get that asked, or is that a discussion amongst your colleagues or something?
Yeah, actually, yes, because right now, as I said, because of the crypto crashes, many people ask, is it worth now to get into Web3, and will it stay, or is it just a bubble? Now, will it pop in the next few months? And I can say, in my opinion, definitely not. Um, as I said, like the crypto prices may crash, um, but the whole idea about Web3 and getting the power back and decentralization is something that will not crash. It's something that will stay. It's something that many people believe in, and I met so many young talented people that are into Web3. So many great minds. Um, I can just tell you that this is going to stay. And also, I also met like not only intelligent people in the space, but also people that are really motivated about the space, that are like me, like really passionate about this whole idea. And I never had this vibes in other tech spaces myself. And I, for my in my opinion, this will stay and it will evolve, and it will evolve fast.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like how like the community is very like strong knit, and since it's new, I think there might be the speculation, but if the community stays together and like figures what's next and sort of keep building things, um, it's here to stay.
Yeah, it's funny because many people ask me, "Is it too late to get into Web3?" And I'm like, hmm. I think even if you start in a year, you are early. Even if you start in 2 years, you are early. I mean, Web3 is in it's a baby right now, right? I mean, it's evolving fast. That's for sure. I mean, it's basically impossible to stay up to date with all the changes that happens in Web3. Even if you are like doing it at 60 hours a day. Um, but yeah, we are very early. We will like have many changes in the space, but the main idea will stay the same.
Of course, yeah. And I think since um, it's new and all the concepts are like a lot of courses are being put out there, but in the coming years it'll become more standardized and more accessible to a lot of people. So learning would be easier, but when it's new, that's the whole deal. Like you have to figure out how to learn on your own, find the right people, as you said. So it's all about how you navigate through it when it's
Yeah,
still fresh and new. So yeah, that's up to the people who are really interested and want to break into it.
totally true. I agree. And it's I think the main or the biggest problem right now that we will face is to make Web3 for the everyday people, like that everyone can use it, no matter how much you know about computers and tech stuff. Because right now only technical people can use these applications, like right with having a wallet, having crypto, buying crypto. This is scary for the normal people, and this is for me right now the biggest problem that we have to solve, um, to make Web3 for everyone, um, and so that also my mom and everyone can use it that are
Yeah,
not tech
exactly. I wanted to
people.
ask you about that, and you actually hit the right topic. Yeah, how do you explain it to your mom? Let's say, what do you do?
I didn't yet. I have to say.
Okay, you haven't tried.
I think. I mean, I told it to my wife, of course. But she's already in my age, so she is technically not a programmer, but tech. She know how to use tech. But yeah, right now you don't could like give your grandmother like your here this application and here buy crypto, do this. It's just totally like
Yeah,
over their head.
here are some private keys and public keys.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, and I think we have to find a way for it, because even if you are if you have success and telling them how to use it, this would like be a gold mine for scammers, because like they don't they don't know that the private key is everything, and if you lose that then your whole wallet is hacked. And yeah, we have like to have a layer on top of that 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 prevents scams from these people, because this happens in Web2 also, right? You have like emails, like phishing emails. This happens in every space. So this is not only Web3, um, but it happens more often in Web3 right now because it's new and it's confusing for many people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think um, that's true. Like when it, it happens in every space, and it requires sort of a guided usage. Like you said, it's right now only developers can use it. A lot of times, even developers who might have not have heard of it or gotten into it need to look it up, read it up. So yeah, definitely more guided usage and sort of how the whole experiences design can help. Like you said, your UX designers can help because they think about the whole experience, and educating would be key, right? To
Yes,
give it
but
to everyone.
true. In um, the best case would be people using a Web3 application without knowing they use a Web3 application. So this
Okay,
would
yeah,
be, I think, the best case.
yeah, you put it very nicely. Yeah, it's good. So Danny, we discussed extensively about Web3, and but you also mentioned that for 10 years you have been a developer and you were into are into cloud computing also. So can you tell us a bit more about that and how it has been?
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, I have made a lot of career switches. I started in the ERP system space, so maybe you know SAP or Navision, maybe you know it. Then I tried many things like I coded in C sharp, like desktop applications. I tried to get into machine learning, into Python, and then. Um, and then I worked like for 2 years as an AWS consultant. And that was like the time I got introduced to cloud computing, or cloud in general. Mm, it was a fun time, I have to say. AWS has great things to offer, great services. Um, I learned a lot. After 2 years as a consultant, I missed programming so much that I got back into programming and then got into web development. Mm, I have to say, right now, I don't regret the time, but I'm like, I'm the Web3 guy right now. I love it. And like AWS goes absolutely against decentralization. It's the opposite of decentralization. And so I don't use it anymore privately. We use it at work, for example. Um, but if you want to learn it, it's okay. It's you will have a lot of opportunities as a DevOps or as a developer or as a consultant, maybe um, to kickstart your project. And yeah, as I said, it's fun. It's a bit overwhelming. I think AWS has over 200 services by now. I don't know, too many. Um, but yeah, right now I'm not using it anymore privately. Um, yeah, that's it about it.
Okay, great insight. And why do you say that AWS is the opposite of Web3? Doesn't it have like you can share access on different levels through
Yeah,
IAM
but
and stuff?
yeah, that's true. But the main application, so AWS as a platform, is
Okay.
centralized because it's
Uh,
owned by Amazon.
Yeah, it
So
has all the storage and data cloud on the cloud in their data centers.
yeah, right. So
Okay.
technically, they own your data, and yeah, you are very how to say um, you rely too much on them, right? As it's the same example as I said with YouTube. If they want to delete your videos or ban your account, they can do that, and AWS can also shut down your account at any time without a valid reason. And yeah, that is like against like the Web3 idea.
Okay. Yeah. Last question. What do you want the listeners to like? Is there anything that you would like to share? Any quote or any inspiration?
Any inspiration? Yeah. So if you are a developer or you want to get into that, and you don't know what you want to do, it took me 10 years to finally found something I want to do for the rest of my life. So try things out. There are so many great fields in tech, like I can't count them all. Web dev, machine learning, game development, and much, much, much more. So try all out, find your thing. If you want to jump into Web3, that's very great. Um, I hope yeah, got or brought you the idea about that and what it is. Um, then if you are, I'm more an introvert person, so I just learned in this year to like to come out from my comfort zone, to talk to people, and it's very fun, I have to say. And so start social media, uh, be a content creator, share your learnings, help people, be friendly, spread positive vibes, and yeah, be someone who helps people, and yeah, just do your thing. Don't care about what other will say about it. And if you have any questions about development or Web3, on my Twitter, I'm always open for my DMs are always open. And yeah, it was a pleasure to be here. Really thanks for having me. It was really fun to talk about that topics. I love to talk about Web3.